What's going on, Bama fans? Chris Daughtry here with the Alabama Football Report. We got some big news breaking right now. I know we're not in the studio today with some really bad weather coming through, so the bosses let us stay at home and do some at-home videos today, but we've really got some big news to talk about with you guys today on Ryan Grubb. He just got fired from the Seattle Seahawks. Remember, he was Kalen DeBoer's offensive coordinator for a very, very long time, and everybody remembers, obviously, his time there at Washington. Domani Jackson is coming back as well for Alabama for the 2025 season, and Justin Okoronkwo also hit the transfer portal last night. So we're going to talk about all of that on today's show. But I want to ask you guys first right now, should Kalen DeBoer hire Ryan Grubb to be the offensive coordinator next year? Let me know in the comment section of today's video. Type Y for yes or N for no. Now, first, let's go ahead and talk about some history here of Ryan Grubb. I believe they were together as well at South Dakota State, but everybody knows they were together at, Sioux Falls, Fresno State, as well as Washington. And you remember back, I know a lot of people got a little bit scorned when he was supposed to be Alabama's offensive coordinator coming into this season. Instead, he ended up staying in Seattle and being the offensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks. They had some ups and downs this year and just were not really able to get things going at the NFL level. But I know a lot of people out there are very, very mad about what Nick Sheridan did this year in terms of the play calling. I'm not really going to nitpick the play calling. I think a lot of the things that went wrong with Alabama's offense this year really had to do with the inconsistencies of Jalen Milroe and, just not being able to throw the ball consistently at the end of the day. And his best attribute was running the ball. So you tried to get him on the ground running the ball, when you could. And sometimes it worked, but when Jalen Milroe wasn't able to run the ball, that's when Alabama's offense just really kind of, hit a decline at the end of the day. So this is really big news in terms of Ryan Grubb getting fired. We know that, they were with each other for a very, very long time, and he called Kalen DeBoer's offense at a very, very high level. So I think, with kind of how the offense was run this year, you just that's the first thing that you go to, right? You already fired one guy on the defensive side of the ball, which I don't think you really needed him anyways. But, Nick Sheridan is the guy that a lot of people had a lot of issues with this year, for Alabama on the offensive side of the ball in terms of play calling. So, let me know in the comment section. It's the pinned comment of today's video. Scale your confidence level in Nick Sheridan calling plays. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. I know a lot of people probably going to be 1s or 0s probably. There was a lot of negativity towards Nick Sheridan this year, even though I don't think all of it was really his fault at the end of the day. So let me know what you guys think. Scale it for me, 1 to 10, your confidence level in Nick Sheridan. That ad is going to come here on YouTube right now. That's totally fine. You guys know the drill by now. Go ahead and ignore it and let me know what you guys think about Nick Sheridan. All right, next up, want to talk a little bit. Domani Jackson coming back for Alabama next year. That's going to be a really, really big piece for you at that cornerback spot. I was really iffy on whether or not he was going to go off to the NFL draft because, I thought he played really, really well for you this year. I think he was your second best player on defense after Jihad Campbell this year. Played 717 snaps per Pro Football Focus and only allowed 52% completion percentage on 50 targets this year. That's absolutely incredible. You go back and you look at Kool-Aid McKinstry's stats from his last season at Alabama, and they really do look very, very similar. Was only credited with 1 touchdown allowed, had 2 interceptions and 6 pass breakups as well. So bringing back Domani Jackson is really big for Alabama. Obviously, you also have Zabian Brown on the other side at that cornerback spot. He played, he had some ups and downs this year as well, but for the most part, I think Zabian Brown played pretty decent for Alabama this season. I think he even got better as the season went on. In terms of, the safety position as well, you got Bray Hubbard coming back, you've got Zay Mincy coming back, and you also have Keon Sabb, who is out for, at least the second half of the season with that lower body injury. I believe he had a broken foot. So I really like what Alabama's defense has coming back next season in terms of starters anyway. For you in terms of that depth, we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. But Domani Jackson coming back for Alabama next season is a really, really big deal. We're going to talk about the depth here on the defense here in just a second, but want to give a shout out to our sponsor today. That is Game Time. The NFL playoffs are right around the corner. The regular season just wrapped up. So if you guys want to go get tickets to see any of your favorite teams in the NFL playoffs, you can do that right now on Game Time. Remember a couple weeks ago, I went to the Big Ten Championship. Me and my girlfriend took a road trip up to Indianapolis. I got tickets for like $20 on Game Time. So that was very, very easy. They made the process very easy. And they even have a new feature now called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Just filters out all the fluff to show you only the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets to find the best deal. Prices on the Game Time app even go down the closer you get to the start of the event. So Alabama basketball, really good this year. If you're in Tuscaloosa last minute, want to go to a basketball game, you can get it even cheaper on Game Time. They also have all-in prices, so you toggle that feature on, and there are no surprise fees at checkout. One of my favorite features is the seat views. You can get a panoramic view front of your seat in the app before you buy, so you know exactly what your view looks like before you buy your tickets. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and redeem promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but again, create an account and redeem promo code CHATSPORTS, that's ChatSports, for $20 off your first purchase. That link's in the comment section and the description of today's video. So download Game Time today, because what time is it? It's game time. All right, next up, I want to talk about Justin Okoronkwo. Hit the transfer portal last night, very, very late last night. It was about midnight Eastern time. Becomes the 22nd player now for Alabama to hit the transfer portal. He had 14 tackles this season, also recorded a half of a TFL, but he only had 39 snaps this year on defense anyways. And if you guys remember, he was a freshman this year from Germany, which is very interesting. You got to... I think that was my cat just knocked something over in the kitchen. So sorry about that noise that just happened. Anyways, going back to Justin Okoronkwo here hitting the transfer portal. He becomes the third linebacker just this week to enter the transfer portal. Jeremiah Alexander, that one really sucked as well. Sterling Dixon also hit the transfer portal. So when it comes to the depth at that linebacker spot, it's really going to be hit or miss. You have Justin Jefferson coming back for his last season at Alabama. Thought he had a good year this year. Deontay Lawson, we're going to have to wait and see. Don't really know the severity quite yet of that leg injury for Deontay Lawson. So don't know if he's going to be back for the A-Day game, and don't really even know back if he's going to be back for the 2025 season, the start of the season anyways. You also had Nikhai Hill-Green. You got him out of the transfer portal. He had a really, really good season for Colorado this year. I believe he had, 82 tackles this year, 12 TFLs, also had 2 interceptions and 4 PBUs for Colorado this year. So when it comes to your starters, I really like what you have, but then after that, at the middle linebacker spot in particular, you have Caden Jones and QB Reese, and they could be good players at the end of the day, but we just do not know quite yet what they are going to be able to bring to the table for Alabama in terms of depth. You also have Darrell Duke Johnson, Luke Metz, and Abdul Sanders that you got in that 2025 recruiting class, but they're incoming freshmen. You don't really want to put them out there for meaningful snaps if one of those guys goes down. And just back to the transfer portal real quick, I just want to talk about this as well. You had Nick Saban talked a few times about the meaning of nothing. I just want to read this real quick because I do think it is really big as well. He said, you get up every day, you're entitled to nothing. Nobody owes you nothing. You could have talent, but if you don't have discipline, if you don't execute, if you don't focus, you get nothing. If you're complacent and not paying attention to detail, what does that get you? Nothing. And I think another thing that you can add to that is patience. And there's not a lot of patience in college football right now. And I really do think it is hurting the development of players into their second, third season, because in the past, you had a lot of guys that they never played meaningful snaps until their, third or fourth season, but then they have a great year or two and they go off and become first or second round picks in the NFL draft. And that right now is just not happening. And I think when you have guys that think that the grass is greener on the other side, a lot of the times it just ends up not being greener at the end of the day. You look at a guy like, Agiye Hall, which he's a little bit out there. That's a little bit of a different story. But now he's on his fourth or fifth team now in just a couple of seasons. So it doesn't really work out a lot of the times. Not saying that Justin Okoronkwo is a kid like Agiye Hall. I think he's probably got a good head on his shoulders. But I was really excited about what he would have been able to do in this Kane Womack defense. You look back to that A-Day game, I thought he was flying around, really fit the mold of that swarm defense. So this one really does hurt. I hate that Justin Okoronkwo is hitting the transfer portal, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Kane Womack and this Alabama defense are just going to have to figure it out. So make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Alabama Football Report. Appreciate you guys, joining us here on the show today. I know it's a little bit different kind of video today, but, we're out of the office today. And with Ryan Grubb getting fired, really wanted to talk about that. Definitely do think he, is a possibility to maybe come back to Alabama and rejoin Kalen DeBoer here. So like I said, make sure you guys hit that sub button for me right now.